Why do you don't believe in like free healthcare? Isn't it a good investment to have in your own people? There are aspects of free healthcare that are good, and there are aspects of free healthcare that are bad. It just needs to be designed intelligently. The problem is around really moral stuff like healthcare. People don't want to ask important questions. So, like, my understanding is given absolute freedom to healthcare at all points of contact, like patients will overconsume, meaning they'll do too many checkups that are unnecessary. They'll go when they don't need to, and they waste resources for hospitals. So that's like a bad thing that I think has been seen to happen. I think it's either in the economics or the bad economics subreddit. There's a big study. I want to say that was published in the New England Journal of Medicine. I could be wrong though. That looked at that. I think that financial stuff shouldn't be a barrier to healthcare. I mean, obviously. And then preventative stuff is a good economic investment and it's a good health investment. So that's important as well. One thing that I've had questions about is sometimes I wonder if we're like trying to do too much or if we like, or if maybe it's not possible. I don't know. Because I hear problems with healthcare around the world with everybody. Like, I wonder if we just don't have enough people, like actual physical people to like work in healthcare. Is that Sui? Thanks for the 5 gifted subs. I'm leaning on my Swedish again, but like listening to Melina trying to set stuff up in Sweden. My God, some stuff was really nice. If you wanted to get an STD test, you could schedule that and like boom, 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 and it's free. And it's like, oh, sick, that's awesome. But for like actually scheduling a real doctor appointment, oh my God, like the calling and you have to wait for their call at the precise moment. If you miss it, you're completely f***ed. And then like the scheduling for how many months or years out that it can be. And these are common complaints I hear from people across Europe, Canadian friends. It can be kind of annoying. So yeah, I'm not sure 100%. There's also like in the United States, it's hard in the US because so much of our stuff is obscured from what the actual cost is. Like college is a really good example of that. When people in the US talk about like college, they go like, oh my God, people will say like, oh my God, if you want to go to the University of Florida, you're spending at least like $30,000 a year. This is horrible. It's and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, well, but it's more complicated than that. Tons of people get student aid. There's lots of grants. You've got federal programs. You've got state programs. You've got local programs. You've got scholarships. You've got like so many different things that make this price way different. And healthcare is similar. Like people look at U.S. healthcare and they go, how the can anybody afford this? Well, because a lot of people have insurance through like their job, and a lot of people have private insurance through their companies. A lot of people have Medicare, Medicaid, and so like it's hard figuring out what the actual cost is at the end of the day for a lot of stuff. It's because it's so obfuscated. It's hard to figure out what's actually going on sometimes. I think the biggest gripe about healthcare is the wild ways in which prices change depending on whether or not you have insurance. Most medical bills make almost no sense. Yeah, I mean, it sounds silly, but like when you start getting other stuff involved, everything just gets really complicated. Like I remember, I'm just leaning on my these are things that I knew doing orders at the casino, and then these are things that I knew working as a carpet cleaner, so take everything I say as a grain of salt. For the casino, when we were ordering supplies, when we were scheduling employees, it was really, really, really important to make sure that when we were scheduling about the same amount of employment cost, because some employees would have different wages, month to month to month. Because when the casino went to look at like who they wanted to cut budget from or whatever, if you're showing that like, oh, look, we can operate, at 80% of our original costs, then they'll start to, if they don't cut your budget, at the very least, if you go back to what you were doing before, they'll look at you. It's like, well, hold on, you were operating, here at XYZ cost or X cost a month. Now you're going back up to this. Like, what happened? Did something break? That's kind of annoying. And then for the carpet cleaning stuff, I remember that when we would if we had a job for water damage, okay, let's say that we're doing a water damage job, okay? If we do water damage, we're going into your basement, we're gonna measure the carpet with a little, a moisture sensor. We're gonna walk around, and if there's wet carpet, we're gonna pull the carpet back. We're gonna cut out the padding and replace it, put the carpet back, and we'll probably leave like one dehumidifier and maybe a fan or two blowing in that basement, okay? We'll also go around and we'll measure the baseboards. We might pop off the trim and maybe cut drywall if we feel like there's a lot of moisture back there, okay? That's what we're doing if you're paying cash. If it's an insurance job, oh boy, if it's an insurance job, We're bringing a separate truck. You're getting at least 4 fans in that basement, maybe 8. You're getting the full Nebraska vortex of fans. You're getting 2 DHUs per room, okay? For drywall, we're cutting at least a foot above any detected moisture. We're taking all of that out. We're probably going to take out the, if you've got insulation, we'll bring in special people with more insulation. We're pulling all of that out. We're going to pull the full padding on the floor. We might replace the carpet if you really want. We might seal the floor. There's so much more, but it's because it's an insurance job. If we do a cash job for water damage, you might be able to do this for like $1,500. If it's an insurance job, we're trying to build at least $5,000 to $10,000, and you can do it too. So I don't know if it works the same way like in the hospital world, but damn, when insurance companies get involved, we are charging out the ass for everything, and there's no discounts, no fucking customer benefit, none of that shit. So yeah. What was the determination from immigration research? It's the number 1 topic for voters. You seem to be finished with it in 2 days. What was the conclusion? Immigration research is really, really, really boring because the conclusion seems really, really, really simple, but there's too much political gridlock. And it seems like right now the biggest issue with immigration has to do with the asylum process. But I mean, Democrats tried to push a big bill that would have dramatically changed the asylum process. And the Republicans blocked it because Donald Trump told them that we need to keep the border open so that we can fight over this as an election issue. None of what I just said is controversial, and that is exactly what happened. So as unbelievable and as disappointing as that is, that's basically, yeah. At Destiny, how can you possibly say that the middle class is not feeling the effects of inflation as evident by CPI increase of 20%? It is clear that you are not knowledgeable about this or just bad faith. He's doing a lot of caps. Since the research you're doing is biased from a left-wing perspective. Listen, I'll say the same thing that I think every economist has been saying, the same thing I've been saying since the start of this. If all of the indexes are as inflated as they are, if inflation is bad as it is, then like at the very end, we should be able to see, like, show me the outcomes, right? There's a thing that happens when you do econ research, or any research really. You're looking at like all of these little contributing factors, all these little causal things, and at the end of the day, you hope that this like basically comes out in a measurable and easy to observe way. So for instance, let's say that we say that like, if you eat less processed food, that's better for you. If you do 60 minutes of walking a day, that's better for you. If you get 8 hours of sleep, that's better for you. Let's say that we study all 3 of these things for people that do them, and then we look at the end result, and then we find out, all these people die younger. Wait, what? That doesn't make sense. Something is missing here. Why would all these people that do all these things that we think are good, why are they dying younger? I think that's like the issue that people are running into is people are complaining about a bunch of things, but when they're starting to look at these like end economic conditions, they're just not seeing any of it come out anywhere. A really common one was houses. People are saying, well, cost of housing is increasing. Younger people are moving out at like later dates. People are putting off buying their first home for a long time. But then when you look at the numbers at the end, Gen Z is on track. They have the same homeownership rate that Gen X and millennials did. No, higher than millennials. Gen X and boomers did at the same age. So wait, what's going on there? Something is happening that's not coming out of the data. And so it's hard to understand like what is actually going on here. Destiny, what would you rather live under, fascism or communism? You have to choose one. Well, am I part of the ruling class in either one? I don't know. Communism seems more stable than fascism. I don't know if fascism demands as much invasion as communism does. I mean, the Soviet Union engaged in a whole bunch of external activity. So I'm not even sure. I don't even know if that's true, actually. I don't know if we've seen enough of either of those ideologies to even say. They both kind of feel like failed ideologies to me. Because like, what if the Nazis were communist and the Soviet Union were Nazis, but we still supported the Soviet Union, then the Nazis probably would have won, right? So yeah, I don't even know.